I ain't never made a call to Diddy, really?
Yeah.
I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
You feel strong enough about something, then you might put a little before you say exactly what you're.
For almost 3 decades, Sean Diddy Combs built a heavyweight empire off pressure, power plays, and pure influence. He ran rooms, checked egos, and made sure everyone knew exactly who was in charge. Artists stayed in line, played their part, and treated the bad boy name like it was untouchable. But there was one rapper Diddy never dared to challenge, one artist who spent years calling him out by name, firing off bars, tossing slick shots, and hinting at industry secrets. And somehow, Diddy never clapped back, not once. That rapper was Eminem. And there's a very real reason Diddy stayed quiet. Most people assumed M was just trolling, being edgy, or pushing buttons for attention. But in reality, he was exposing exactly why Diddy couldn't move against him. This had nothing to do with sales, charts, or money. This went way deeper than rap. It came down to real backing, real protection, and a level of respect you can't buy. From the circles M was connected to his refusal to play industry politics, to standing firm during some of hip-hop's wildest eras, Eminem moved differently. Add 50 Cent's loyalty into the equation, and suddenly the picture gets real clear. Every diss, every slick line, every eerie reference wasn't random. Eminem was making one thing obvious: he wasn't someone to test. That's the real reason Diddy never came at Eminem. And once you understand that, everything you thought you knew about both men starts flipping upside down. Before we break it all the way down, you have to understand what truly set Marshall Mathers apart. This was never about charts or Grammy trophies. This was about something the industry almost never says out loud: real backing. The kind you can't buy, fake, or spin with PR. Most artists who challenge a mogul like Diddy feel it immediately. Careers stall, radio support disappears, doors quietly close. But Eminem was different. He had something money and influence couldn't touch: support from people who didn't care about Billboard rankings or red carpets, and that's where the real tension started. Eminem had connections to highly respected circles on the West Coast, including members of the Samoan community, most notably the Booyah tribe. These weren't industry insiders. These were people known for loyalty, structure, and respect earned far outside the music business. When Eminem's manager Paul Rosenberg connected with Monster Goo from the regime, it wasn't about a record deal or publicity. According to Gia, there were real concerns about pressure Eminem was facing at the time. Not rumors, not gossip, but actual issues that needed handling. That period led to the 2003 track 911 with Booyah Tribe and Be Real. But the song wasn't the point. The message was loud and clear: Eminem wasn't standing alone. When certain people tried to make Eminem check in, that unwritten rule where artists show respect or pay homage, most celebrities would have folded, paid up, and played along. Eminem didn't. He stood his ground. Once it became clear that pressing Eminem meant dealing with his Samoan allies, everything cooled down. Word traveled fast through LA's hip-hop circles. Eminem wasn't just another artist to test. He had real backing and the confidence to stand on it. And Diddy, someone who understands power and pressure better than most, knew exactly what that meant. But the Samoan support was only part of the story. What really exposed Eminem's mindset and sent a message to industry power players happened during a moment that's now legendary in hip-hop. Early 2000s, the In the Club video shoot, one of the biggest moments of that era. Cameras rolling, energy high, packed set. Then suddenly, everything shifted. Suge Knight showed up uninvited with a large group. According to people on set, this wasn't friendly. It was a power move. Suge's reputation alone could silence a room. Tony Yayo later described just how tense it got. Even The Game confirmed it on Vlad TV. This wasn't casual. This was Suge expecting everyone to move aside. Security froze. Execs didn't want problems. Most people backed off, but Eminem didn't. And according to Tony Yayo, Eminem stood his ground and refused to be intimidated, and that moment said everything.
He had some Mexican niggas. Now, we from New York. You ain't never seen a nigga with a tattoo on his forehead. 118th Street crew. I'm like, what the f? This is when I knew Eminem was real. He's like, I don't give a f, man. This is when I knew, I'm like, damn, Eminem is a real nigga. These niggas, 50 niggas outside, what's up? And then the nigga Suge just walked.
While others backed away from a man known for pressure tactics, blacklisting, and intimidation, Eminem didn't flinch. He didn't care about reputation. He didn't care about the power behind the name. He stood his ground like someone who wasn't afraid of consequences. No theatrics, no posturing, no begging, just calm confidence. Nothing popped off, but the message was undeniable. Eminem wasn't someone you could scare, press, or push around, and the industry never forgot that moment. Suge didn't leave because Eminem backed down. He left because pushing further meant bigger problems. At that point, it wasn't just about one rapper anymore. Escalating meant dealing with people who didn't care about industry status or old reputations. And trust, Diddy was watching. He saw how Eminem handled one of the most feared figures in hip-hop without panic. No submission, no fear, just steady pressure. That sent a clear signal. This wasn't someone you could bully, control, or silence with industry tactics. Street backing and standing firm already set Eminem apart, but what really made Diddy hesitate came next. In the early 2000s, everything changed when Eminem signed 50 Cent to Shady Records in 2002. This wasn't just business. This was the union of two forces that perfectly balanced each other: Eminem's fearlessness and 50's real-world credibility. Together, they became something the industry couldn't intimidate.
Everything else happened because at that point, when you're saying that this is what's next and this is what you really believe in, who disagrees with you when you're selling 23 million records on the Marshall Mathers LP? You see what I'm saying? Everybody wants to do what you want to do at that point, and then because of his support, it got the right look, and I was able to have the largest debut in hip-hop.
50 Cent wasn't an industry plant or a lucky breakout. He entered the game with a real reputation, having survived multiple attempts on his life and still coming back stronger. He had deep roots in New York and a name built on never backing down. When he linked with Eminem, the industry paid attention fast. The message was simple: this wasn't a duo to test. What made the alliance especially serious for someone like Diddy wasn't just influence, it was loyalty. This wasn't a mentor relationship you could disrupt with money or pressure. 50 respected Eminem as a man, not just an artist. That kind of loyalty can't be bought, and everyone at the top knew it. The respect went both ways. Over the years, 50 made it clear he was always ready to ride for Eminem. Anyone coming at M wasn't dealing with one person, they were dealing with both. From public commentary to non-stop pressure, 50's presence worked like a shield around Eminem. From Diddy's perspective, going after Eminem meant instant conflict with Eminem and 50 Cent at the same time. And that's not a simple rap beef, that's a collision with two of the most fearless, well-connected figures in hip-hop. They weren't just linked by music, they were backed by real credibility and unbreakable loyalty. Diddy built influence using divide and pressure tactics, isolating people, cutting off support, letting industry wait to the work. Eminem and 50 were the opposite, a solid front, no cracks, no price tag. That's what made the situation dangerous for Diddy. You couldn't buy them off, you couldn't scare them, and you definitely couldn't split them apart. With protection locked in and alliances firm, Eminem started doing what very few rappers ever dared, calling Diddy out directly, again and again, louder over time. These weren't random jabs or throwaway lines, they were calculated, strategic.
Got a beautiful wife, kids, and a gorgeous home. What would make me jump in the tub with a cordless phone? I'm straight vicious, I hit you with plates and dishes, leave you with 8 stitches. When I'm gay cause I hate, don't be nice to me, I've had it with girls, and I'll still be mad at the world, even if it apologized to me.
Each one hinted at what Eminem seemed to know about how things really moved behind the scenes. The patterns started early. Back in 1996, on a track called Effing Crazy, a young Eminem was already aiming at the bad boy empire, suggesting he could step into Puff's space and shake things up. At the time, people brushed it off as battle rap energy, but looking back, that verse doesn't feel random at all. It feels like the opening shot of a quiet, long-running rivalry. Once Eminem hit full mainstream status, the shots stopped being subtle. They got direct. On the Marshall Mathers LP, he openly dismissed Diddy. No coded bars, no hiding it. Then on I'm Back, Eminem pushed it even further, referencing Diddy's very public relationship with Jennifer Lopez, basically implying he could take her if he wanted, and Diddy would just have to deal with it. That wasn't just shock value, that was a deliberate provocation. What made these shots different from normal rap beef was consistency. Most artists fire once, feel the heat, then retreat when pressure shows up. Eminem did the opposite. Album after album, year after year, he kept Diddy's name in rotation, and Diddy never responded. Think about that. In hip-hop, getting called out by name usually brings a reaction, especially at Eminem's level. Silence doesn't always signal strength. Sometimes it signals avoidance, and Diddy staying quiet told its own story. It revealed a power dynamic people didn't expect. Eminem wasn't chasing attention, he was challenging Diddy's image in real time. Every unanswered bar chipped away at that untouchable aura, making Diddy look more cautious, more selective, more careful about what he engaged. This wasn't just punchlines, this was pressure, psychological, strategic. Eminem used his platform to show that even with money, influence, and connections, Diddy didn't want that smoke. Why? Because Eminem had real backing, solid alliances, and nothing to prove. And Diddy knew responding could open a door he couldn't fully control. But Eminem's pressure was about to hit a whole new level. In 2018, everything shifted. Machine Gun Kelly went at Eminem, and M responded. He responded with a track designed to shut the whole situation down, completely. And it worked. MGK's momentum took a noticeable hit, but buried inside that response was a line that had nothing to do with MGK and everything to do with Diddy. Eminem dropped what many fans still consider one of the most jaw-dropping lyric moments in modern hip-hop. In a diss aimed at someone else, he slipped in a reference that tied Diddy to one of the most sensitive topics in rap history, Tupac. The bar caught everyone off guard. Eminem suggested that the day MGK would drop a real hit would be the same day Diddy would admit involvement in what happened to Pac. Then he followed it up with, "I'm just playing Diddy, you know I love you." But by then, it was already out there. Think about how bold that was. Eminem casually touched one of hip-hop's most controversial subjects and linked it to one of the most powerful figures in the industry on a song heard by millions, and he did it calmly, almost effortlessly, like he wasn't worried about any fallout at all. It didn't feel random, it felt intentional. The reaction was instant. The hip-hop world went into overdrive. Reaction videos flooded YouTube, fans replayed the line on loop, industry conversations went quiet, then loud behind closed doors. Everyone asked the same thing. Did Eminem really just say that? And the bigger question, why didn't Diddy respond? At that point, this wasn't a normal diss anymore. This was Eminem showing he could say almost anything about Diddy, publicly, on record, and nothing would come his way. No response track, no legal threats, no industry pushback, just silence. And that silence spoke louder than any reply ever could. That's when it started clicking for people. This wasn't strategy or restraint. Diddy didn't want to engage, because if Eminem was bold enough to publicly touch one of hip-hop's most sensitive subjects, people started wondering, what else might he know, and how far would he really go? After the kill shot moment, things shifted behind the scenes. Other industry power players started paying close attention, and what they saw confirmed what many already suspected. Eminem moved by a completely different rulebook. The traditional hip-hop power structure is simple. Moguls control careers through radio connections, favors, and access. Cross them, and things quietly stop working. Songs don't get spins, features disappear, doors close. That system has kept artists in line for decades, but Eminem never fit into that system. His success didn't depend on mogul approval or industry politics. He built everything off raw skill, a fiercely loyal fan base, and a level of independence most artists never reach. So when Eminem went at Diddy, nothing happened. No fallout, no punishment, because there couldn't be. The usual tools, blacklisting, radio pressure, quiet behind-the-scenes moves, didn't work on someone who never needed them in the first place. And that created a real problem for Diddy. For the first time, he was dealing with someone he couldn't control, couldn't silence, and couldn't pressure using the old playbook. Eminem had the one thing moguls fear most: total creative freedom and financial independence. Once that kind of power is exposed, intimidation stops working. Behind the scenes, industry insiders started whispering. A figure known for controlling narratives and shutting down opposition was being openly challenged by someone who looked completely untouchable. And every day Diddy stayed silent only made that image weaker. The shift was obvious to anyone paying attention. Eminem wasn't dissing for shock value. He was proving the old rules didn't apply to him, and that realization sent a message through the industry. The game had changed. Some players were no longer under mogul control. But the moment that truly gave weight to Eminem's long-running hints came in November 2023. That's when things he'd been alluding to for years suddenly hit the public spotlight. Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, accusing him of serious misconduct, long-term abuse, and control tactics within their relationship. The claims described behavior that sharply contradicted the polished bad boy image the public had known for decades. Within 24 hours, the case was settled for a reported $20 million. The speed of that settlement raised eyebrows everywhere. While it was meant to shut things down quickly, the impact was already out, and it couldn't be erased. Public opinion shifted almost overnight. Suddenly, Eminem's old lyrics didn't sound like random shock bars anymore. Fans who had tracked his lines for years started connecting dots. The references, the hints about control, the repeated warnings about what might be happening behind closed doors. Those bars started feeling less like exaggeration and more like signals hiding in plain sight. For many people, that was the chilling realization. Eminem wasn't guessing, he was saying things others wouldn't or couldn't say out loud. The settlement sent a message across the industry. While many celebrated Diddy's success and ignored rumors for years, Eminem had consistently pointed to darker undertones through his music, and now those long-ignored warnings were reflected in official court filings. But here's what really stood out. Even after public opinion shifted, even after the Cassie lawsuit lined up with years of Eminem's hints, Diddy still didn't respond. No defamation claim, no public pushback, no visible industry pressure, just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. To many observers, it suggested Diddy knew Eminem wasn't bluffing. More than that, it raised an even bigger question. What else might Eminem know, and what would happen if he decided to say it outright? The most unsettling moment in this timeline came in July 2024. That's when Eminem released The Death of Slim Shady, an album many fans now call one of his most prophetic. On the track Fuel, listeners immediately caught a specific wordplay moment, spelling rapper without the P while referencing serious misconduct. The bars were sharp, deliberate, and impossible to miss. Fans knew exactly who he was pointing at. What made it even chilling was the timing. The song dropped months before authorities publicly moved against Diddy. While investigators were reportedly building their case behind the scenes, Eminem was already addressing the exact type of allegations that would later dominate headlines. To fans, it didn't feel random, it didn't feel accidental, it felt like a warning. When federal charges were later announced and Sean Combs was taken into custody in September 2024, a lot of people felt the same realization hit all at once. This wasn't sudden. The hip-hop world had been watching this tension build for nearly 30 years, and only at the end did the full picture come into focus. Eminem wasn't just dissing Diddy, To many watching closely, it looks like he was calling things out the entire time, hiding warnings in plain sight long before anyone else was willing to say anything. What once sounded like shock bars now feels deliberate, calculated, and purposeful. And when you line everything up, the silence, the timing, the lyrics, it all starts telling the same story.